Somewhere in wartime Europe, a lineman looked down from a pole and saw a German helmet moving through the bushes below him. Corporal Percy E. Cox went into action immediately. He slid down so fast he later described it as burning the pole. When his boots hit the ground, he shouted to another soldier nearby, "There's a German there." What happened next ended with 3 black American soldiers, linesmen, not infantry, capturing 15 German troops. Almost no one remembers their names. This is the story of Corporals Percy E. Cox, Bernard P. Henderson, and Allie W. Campbell. These 3 black American soldiers in World War II were trained as linesmen in a Signal Corps unit. They ensured that units could communicate with each other. Their work involved climbing poles, laying and repairing wire so that commanders could coordinate attacks and call for support, often under fire. Their work was essential because without communications, units cannot fight together. However, their job rarely made the newsreels. Before the war, Bernard P. Henderson worked a switchboard at a hotel in Manhattan. He had a wife, May, and a young daughter, Gloria, living in Washington, D.C. His mother, Anna H. Hughes, was even a political candidate in New York. Percy E. Cox came from Petersburg, Virginia, and before joining the Army, he worked for a taxi company. Allie W. Campbell, from Plains, Virginia, was the son of Lucille Campbell and a graduate of a local public school. All 3 served in a Signal Corps battalion in a segregated army, doing skilled, sometimes dangerous work for a country that still limited their opportunities even as it demanded their service. On that day, the men were working together, each carrying out their duties. Cox was up a pole, working above the ground, when he spotted a helmet moving through the brush. He slid down at once, burning the pole, and as soon as he hit the ground, he called out to Henderson about 30 yards away. Henderson ran toward him and did exactly what he'd been taught in basic training, dropping to the ground, rolling over, and bringing his weapon to bear. "There's a German there," Cox shouted, pointing out the position. Henderson started shooting. A German soldier came up with his hands in the air. Henderson fired again, and 3 more Germans appeared. Another shot, and more Germans raised their hands. After the 5th and last shot, he had forced 15 Germans to surrender. By then, Corporal Allie W. Campbell, a truck driver, had heard the shots. He grabbed his Thompson submachine gun and ran toward the scene. When he arrived, Cox and Henderson were out of ammunition, resulting in a dangerous situation. But Campbell now had the firepower to secure the prisoners. The 3 soldiers searched the Germans, confiscated important papers, and loaded all 15 into their truck. Henderson and Cox stood guard while Campbell drove the prisoners to the provost office, where the sight of 15 captured Germans took everyone by surprise. At headquarters, the commanding officers were surprised and impressed. Lieutenant Charles A. Gray said, "The 3 boys executed the act admirably, just as if they were infantrymen and trained for the job." Major Thomas J. Quan, the battalion commander, expressed pride in the distinction they had brought to the unit. Praise like this mattered, especially for black soldiers in support roles, whose vital work is rarely seen. During World War II, most black American soldiers served in non-combat roles, transportation, engineering, logistics, and communications, because Army policy and prejudice kept them out of many frontline units, even as more than 1 million black Americans served in uniform. Yet time and again, when combat found them, they performed with courage and competence. And time and again, those actions vanished into the background of the larger war story. Today, the story of Cox, Henderson, and Campbell is survived because of a few lines in a news article. However, those words and names refer to real people who served, acted, and carried out their duty under conditions that asked everything of them and gave far less in return. Corporals Percy E. Cox, Bernard P. Henderson, Allie W. Campbell. 3 linesmen who captured 15 prisoners in a story worth remembering. If you're interested in more stories like this about black soldiers and other overlooked men and women of the Second World War, this is what I focus on here. Subscribe to stay updated and to discover more of their history.